So what do people get for all their hard work under the sun? The answer, not much. That's what Solomon is talking about in the book of Ecclesiastes. The celebrity king in Jerusalem says you can chase the money, the madness, the moods, the mansions, and the margaritas like Solomon himself. But as he says in Ecclesiastes 1:2, it's meaningless, completely meaningless, like chasing after the wind. That's what Pastor Jim Johnson is talking about this week on Soul Break. Working his way through the 12-chapter Old Testament book verse by verse, Pastor Jim is explaining how the pursuit leaves you thirsty, giving you everything you might want for the moment, but nothing that you're really hoping for. But Jesus can fill you with rivers of living water. So if you're ready to quit chasing the wind and ready to cut to the chase for true meaning, then stay with us for the next 14 minutes with Bible teacher Jim Johnson from True Vine Church in Mora, Minnesota on Soul Break.
Okay, yesterday we were talking about Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 15 to 29, where Solomon's telling you to be early to think about death and to stop complaining. We're also talking about Coach Pete Carroll, the current coach of the Raiders NFL team, brand new this year, coaching at age 74, now longtime Seattle Seahawks coach. Won the Super Bowl for the Seahawks, also 2013, won national championship 3 times at USC, 2005 win over Oklahoma, lost the next year to Texas, but he also ended the year as ranked number 1, 2003 and 2004. He's still going at it as a coach, as a competitor, 74 years old. It's amazing. Oldest NFL coach to be hired in the history of the game. The recent interview in Vegas. Can you play us a clip of that gives you a little sense of his personality and his spirit?
You're becoming the oldest head coach in NFL history. You don't like to wear that number on your back, but it is an accomplishment itself. What's keeping you so jacked up all the time? I mean, your energy is outstanding, and it's that passion of the game, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's the chase of the passion. That's really what draws me to it. The unknowing, what you don't know what's going to happen, you can't tell, and you're going for it anyway. It's just been something that's in my blood. I've been competing my whole life, and this is just a great opportunity to carry it here.
Coach Pete Carroll, there he is, 50 years coaching and playing football. It's been amazing. He's having a lot of fun. It's very similar to what Solomon is saying in Ecclesiastes 7. I think those simple guidelines that he brought out to be early, to don't complain and protect the team, those foundational principles for a winning football team, couldn't help but think about what I hear the aging king of Israel saying in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, Solomon saying, 935 BC. What we need to hear today in our culture and situation where we live and where we work. If you want to be wise, says Solomon, if you want to be rare, if you want to have a 84% winning percentage, if you want to be a part of a dynasty, so to speak, Solomon writes in the 7th chapter of the 12-chapter testimony that you should abide by 3 principles. Number 1, think about death. In other words, be early and come prepared to work. 2, stop complaining or quit whining and looking back at your past and forge ahead and trust God. And 3, protect the team. See how rare a thing wisdom is and pursue it and protect it and advance it. I want to just review a couple of things that I see in the passage. Look at what Solomon writes in verse 20. Listen to this. Not a single person on earth is always good and never sins. You can't be perfect, in other words. And he says, quit complaining, quit gossiping. Verse 21, don't eavesdrop on others. You may hear your servant curse you, for you know how often you yourself have cursed others. And then he says, listen to this, verse 23, I've always tried my best to let wisdom guide my thoughts and actions. I said to myself, I'm determined to be wise, but it didn't work. Wisdom is always difficult and distant to find, and he said, I searched everywhere, determined to find wisdom and to understand the reason for things. Verse 25, he's driven by success, that is, quote, I was determined to prove to myself that wickedness is stupid and that foolishness is madness. And then he says, listen to this, verse 26, I discovered that a seductive woman is a trap more bitter than death. Her passion is a snare and her soft hands are chains. Those who are pleasing to God will escape her, but sinners will be caught in her snare. Friend, if you want to be a winner, You got to steer away from sin, stop complaining, and stop showing up late all the time. Stop living for pleasure, Solomon says. Stop kind of trying to be perfect, a success in everything that you do. Stop cursing others because they're going to curse you as well. Listen to this, Greg, from Ecclesiastes 8 here. Look at verse 8:15. So I recommend having fun because there's nothing better for people in this world to do than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way you'll experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives you under the sun. It's a fascinating thought. As an athlete, Greg, and as a competitor, as a storyteller, what are your thoughts about Pete Carroll's advice and Solomon's advice here?
Well, first of all, I'm not only at the pool today, but it's also raining pretty heavily, so you're going to hear it. But what I've come to learn is that almost everything, and there are very few exceptions, but almost everything that gives you lasting satisfaction, joy, sense of accomplishment, meaning, purpose, big things, the greatest of things, require the individual to do things that they don't want to do. For your family, it's sacrificing your own needs and wants. For your health and your body, it's sacrificing all the foods that you want to eat. For fitness, it requires having to go to the gym when you don't want to go. For sports, it's doing the drills that you find boring. It's listening and obeying the coach when you don't want to. In your marriage, it's serving your wife in love, even though you could point the finger at her and say, I don't have to do that. It's like God baked it into the cake. And the world's telling you, pursue happiness. Just go have fun. Do what you want to do. Or as Frank Sinatra's song said, I did it my way. Or as you find in the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey, the central tenet of this book is my will be done. It's self-indulgence, period. Almost every single great rewarding thing in life is the stuff that your nature doesn't want to do.
Those are interesting thoughts to me. We've talked earlier about, showing up early for a task, giving yourself wholly for the effort, and to stop complaining. That's verse 8 to 22 of chapter 7. But I want to focus on these last verses, Ecclesiastes 7:23 to 29. What Solomon says that really parallel what I see Pete Carroll talking about. These are simple rules for life that mean, instead of worrying only about yourself, try to worry about the team and protect the team. Listen to verse 23 again. I have always tried my best to let wisdom guide my thoughts and actions. I said to myself, I am determined to be wise, but it didn't work. Wisdom is always distant and difficult to find. He says, verse 25, I searched everywhere, determined to find wisdom and to understand the reason for things. I was determined to myself that wickedness is stupid and foolishness is madness. I'll listen to verse 26 and 27 again. I discovered that a seductive woman is a trap, he says, more bitter than death. Passion is a snare. Her soft hands are chains. They're bonds and bands that lead you to ruin. And then notice what he says here right following that. Now he's trying to get the best for himself, become the wisest, the most understanding. But he says, this is my conclusion. Listen to this. This is my conclusion, says the teacher, verse 27. I discovered this. After looking at the matter from every possible angle, though I have searched repeatedly, I have not found what I was looking for. Only 1 out of 1,000 men is virtuous. And now listen to what he says next here, because he's been married to 700 women and 300 girlfriends, and after all that pleasure and all that time and all that power, all that prestige, all those choices, he says, but I've not found one woman who is virtuous. And I don't think he's saying that there aren't any virtuous women, but he said, I haven't found any. Let's put you to the test on this one, because you've married a virtuous woman, wise woman, a strong woman. I've married Linda. What a beautiful bride she is, but she's a woman of great strength, great wisdom, great power to translate and interpret. She's a fascinating woman. But answer it carefully. What's he saying when he says, I haven't found one virtuous woman?
I would say that he is saying what Lady Gaga says in her hit song, Born That Way. We are all born that way. We're all born sinners. We all have different crosses to carry. Some have heavier crosses. Some have crosses I wouldn't want to carry, and I have a cross that other people wouldn't want to carry either. We marry sinners, and our spouses marry one as well. But the walk of a Christian is not a give and take relationship. We don't serve our wives because she served us. We don't serve our children because they've served us. We don't do this in any relationship. We do it because God has loved us. He's loved us when we haven't served him, when we turn our back on him, when we've run from him, and he's chased us down, and our hearts have been softened, and he fills us with his Spirit, and he says, stop trying to find what you're looking for outside of me. I am your only food. I am the only drink. And every single time we run into trouble, it's because we've tried to find satisfaction outside of that new paradigm. We no longer deny ourselves, but we seek to find the things we're looking for outside of Jesus Christ. And that brings us sorrow and pain and hurt and dissatisfaction and depression. None of us are virtuous, only one, Jesus. And thank God for that.
Well, that's why I'm explaining as I look at Pete Carroll's rules of advice: be early, stop complaining, have fun, and protect the team. As you're looking at a man who said, I live for myself and I went by my own ways, my own ideas. I should have guarded the team. I should have guarded my own personal integrity. I should have guarded my life, my family, but I went and did it my own way. Solomon made a lot of foolish decisions. Oh, he made those foolish decisions. And the wives came with the packages of foreign diplomacy. And quote, verse 4, his wives turned away Solomon's heart after other gods, and the heart was not perfect. His heart was not perfect with the Lord his God. Well, that's what I think happens a lot of times, is we say, God, I love you. I want to follow your ways, but I'm going to choose my own husband. I want to choose my own wife. And that choice has come back to bite you because you chose a selfish person. You chose a woman, or you chose a man who was not seeking God like you were seeking God, and maybe it brought much deep regret, and you think you've made so many mistakes and there's really no way to redeem it, no turning back. Well, I want to say to you, no, there is a way to redeem it. God can transform anyone. He can transform you. He can transform your husband. He can transform your wives, your children, your grandchildren, your friends. People that have ruined your life and made havoc or wreaked havoc with your life. Jesus is a redeemer. He is a repairer of relationships. He forgives sins. He brings repentance, and he restores your joy. He surrounds you with a family that will protect you and guard you. Don't turn away. Don't lose heart now, friend. Virtue is rare, but there is one who is virtuous. His name is Jesus Christ. He never sinned. He stood up for you. He died on a cross. He spilled his blood for you. And this virtuous Savior, this man who committed no sin, this God-man, this divine being who became a human with flesh, died on a cross, this virtuous man, and he can redeem and restore you. That's what Ecclesiastes 7 says. That's what I'm saying today from the Bible, from the Gospel. Until next time, I am Jim Johnson, trying to give your soul a break, hoping to point you back to the Holy Scriptures, and asking you to consider the virtues of Jesus Christ one more time.
With that, we say thanks for joining us on Soul Break, and thanks for investing in a life that makes a real difference. As King Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verses 13 through 14, wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. For the wise can see where they are going, but fools walk in the dark. Soul Break airs every weekday at 10 p.m. and on Sundays at 8. Sponsored by True Vine Church in Mora and the Lutheran Evangelistic Movement. I'm Greg Hengler, your radio host and sound engineer, and I work with Mora Pastor Jim Johnson to reach listeners with biblical truth, to soften consciences, to muse on music and culture, and point people to Jesus Christ. For more information, you can call us at 805-807-8336 or email Pastor Jim at jamesljohnson@zohomail.com. You can also find us by clicking on Soul Break with Pastor Jim on Spotify, Sermon Audio, or Apple Podcast. Soul Break episodes are also easily available for free anytime on the True Vine website at truevinemora.org. If you're looking for a good church home, you can also visit True Vine Church any Sunday at 10 and every Thursday for Celebrate Recovery at 6 at 130 South Park Street, 1 block west of downtown Mora. So until next time, I'm Greg Hengler, inviting you to keep seeking God's best in the Bible. Keep turning your focus on Jesus, and join us again tomorrow at this same time here on Soul Break.